I met some parents who feel so proud that their children can dance like the famous singer. They feel proud of their kids. They keep talking about it everywhere. I start to question a lot about this. When the children can react something like a famous people, does that mean the kids have talents, or the kids have smart thinking, and the kids have a good imagination? Is that important for the kids try to copy somebody? Because it takes a long time for the kids to train themselves to be able to copy somebody. When they copy very well, does it mean they are smarter or they have better imagination? So the question for me is, do we need the kids to be able to copy other people very well? Or do we need the kids who have their own imagination, who have their own thinking? This question is, I think it's important to think about it, especially now in this era. Because in our culture, the education system, we train the kids to copy. When we go to the school, they need to copy everything from the lesson in the school, from the books. If the book said this, like this, when you answer the question in the examination, you need to answer like this. That means, if you can do that, that means you are good. You get a higher marks, higher score. So people will say that you're good, you're clever, you're smart, because you make a good score. That's our education system. We admire people who can copy the idea, the thinking very well. But we did not encourage the kids to think by themselves, to imagine by themselves much. So this education system that we have now is about memorizing. It's about how to remember things as much as you can. But it's not about what do you think about this? How can you solve this problem? It's not about that much. So in our old culture of education in Thailand, we want the kids to be quiet. We want the kids to be the good listener. A good listener means don't question much. Don't have a lot of questions. Just listen and obey. That's the main thing that people think in the past. So now when the kids can do like other people, copy other people thinking very well, people think the kid is good. In the past, we praised the kid who very quiet, not argue, not fight back, not criticize other people much. They think the kid is good person. When the kid listen to the teaching and follow the teaching, it's good. It's good, it's true in the past. Because in the past, the world did not change much. Everything will be the same thing for a long time. The culture, the tradition, the society, everything will be stable. It's not changed much. So if you follow this form of culture or tradition, you always have a good life. That's in the past. But now, the world has changed so fast. You cannot do like that anymore. You cannot live like that. You cannot think like that anymore. Now, the world needs some new thinking, new idea, new imagination. So when we teach the kid to copy other people, to be quiet, to not critique, not just listen to criticize things much, the kids maybe cannot catch up with the change in the world. So now what we need is just, we need the kid to have their own thinking, their own idea, their own imagination. We want the kids to know how to use listen, to analyze things more, to critique things with listen more, so they can have their own thinking, their own idea. We need more new imagination. We don't need a computer who can copy everything as they were taught before. So we have a lot of talk with many parents lately about this, because many parents still have the old way of thinking. They believe that if the kids study this, and then there will be this. If they study very well, they can be architect, they can be doctor, they can be engineer. That's a good life. That's the end of it. But now the world is not like that anymore. Many kids don't want to do like that. Many kids have their own dream. Many kids have their own imagination. They want to be artists. They want to be something else. It's not like what parents used to believe. So it's a big conflict between parents and kids now. The problem now is, when people getting older and older like me, our brain has no space for new information. We have too much old information in our head. Like me, I love to think about the old thing. I'm very happy to talk about the old time. But when they talk about new thing, new generation, I cannot catch up with it very fast. Sometimes I cannot understand it. So the generation gap is a big thing now, because the world changed so fast. I think in this situation, many people who are older have to be careful about this more than before. We need to think about ourselves, that we develop our thinking to catch up with the change in the world or not. We should not put our dream or our imagination on the kids or the children's life. We need to let them think, let them imagine. It's their life. It's their generation. It's not our generation anymore. I think this part is very important, because I can see many conflicts in many families now, and I can see many kids' life were ruined with the good intention of parents. It's sad to see many new generation. They start to wilt it. They even have no time to bloom, but they're wilted already. That's sad.